Imagine going into surgery, not knowing if the anesthesia would fully work, not allowed to see your family, waking up in a room full of strangers, hearing metal carts roll down long tiled hallways, and smelling cigarette smoke drifting through the air. If modern hospitals make you uneasy, you wouldn't survive a 1960s hospital stay. It's 1964. You wake up before sunrise with a sharp, twisting pain in your stomach. You try to ignore it. People in your generation don't rush to the doctor for every ache. But by afternoon, you're sweating, pale. Your family doctor makes a house call or sees you in his small office. There are no CT scans, no MRI machines. Ultrasound is limited. Diagnosis depends on experience, touch, and instinct. He presses your abdomen. You flinch. It's likely your appendix, he says. We shouldn't wait. That's it. No second opinion. No advanced imaging. Just trust. By evening, you're admitted. The hospital lobby feels cold. Fluorescent lights hum overhead. The smell hits you immediately, disinfectant mixed with something metallic and stale. Floors shine with wax. The walls are pale green or beige, functional, plain. You fill out paperwork. Insurance works differently then. Medicare has just been signed into law in 1965. Many older Americans are still adjusting to what that even means. A nurse leads you down a long corridor. You expect a room. Instead, you're brought into a ward. 6 beds, maybe 8. All in one large room. Thin curtains hang between them, but they don't block sound or fear. You see an elderly man coughing. A teenager with his leg in traction. A woman staring at the ceiling in silence. This is where you'll recover. There's no television mounted on the wall. No personal device in your hand. No constant stream of updates from the outside world. Just time. At night, the hospital changes. Lights dim but never go fully dark. Nurses' shoes echo against tile. Somewhere, a patient groans. Another whispers a prayer. The air feels heavy. And you realize something uncomfortable. You're alone. Visiting hours in the 1960s are strict. Sometimes just 1 hour in the evening. 2 at most. Children often aren't allowed to visit at all. Your spouse kisses your forehead and leaves when the clock says so. Your parents hug you and walk down that long hallway. The sound of their footsteps fades. The doors close. And you stay. There are no overnight cots for family members. No partner sleeping in a chair beside your bed. Hospitals believe rest is easier without visitors. They believe emotional distance prevents distress. But lying there, staring at a ceiling you don't recognize, you don't feel protected. You feel abandoned. If you were a child in the 1960s, the experience could be even more frightening. Children admitted for surgery were often separated quickly from their parents. Staff believed it made procedures smoother. Less crying, less chaos. Imagine being 7 years old, tonsils swollen. You're wheeled away on a metal gurney while your mother stays behind double doors. She won't see you again until tomorrow. There are no child life specialists. No comforting cartoons playing on screens. No gentle explanations tailored to your fears. You're told to be brave. And bravery, in that era, means silence. Now comes the surgery. Anesthesia in the 1960s is improving rapidly compared to earlier decades. It's safer than it was in the 1940s or 1950s, but it's not what we know today. Monitoring equipment is basic. Heart rate, blood pressure, observation. There are no sophisticated digital displays tracking oxygen saturation the way modern hospitals do. Some patients wake feeling violently nauseated. Others experience confusion. Grogginess can last hours, sometimes longer. You regain consciousness slowly. The room spins. Your throat burns from the breathing tube. Your abdomen aches in a deep, unfamiliar way. You reach for the call button. It may take time for someone to come. Hospitals are busy. Staffing ratios are different. Nurses are efficient, professional, often firm. Warmth varies. Compassion exists, but it's not always expressed in soft voices. Pain management is another reality. Today, pain scales are standard. Rate your pain from 1 to 10. Medication schedules are carefully managed. In the 1960s, pain is expected. You may receive medication, but dosing philosophies are conservative. Doctors worry about dependency. They worry about respiratory suppression. They worry about doing too much, so you endure, you clench your jaw. You shift carefully in bed. You wait for the next allowed dose. And if you complain too much, you might be told, gently or not, that recovery isn't supposed to be comfortable. Then there's infection. Antibiotics have transformed medicine by this time. Penicillin is widely used, but infection control protocols are not as standardized or rigorous as they are decades later. Disposable gloves are not universal. Hand hygiene culture is evolving. Equipment sterilization methods exist, but oversight varies by institution. Hospital-acquired infections are more common than they are today. A simple surgical wound can become inflamed. Fever sets in. Your hospital stay extends. Every additional day increases your exposure to other illnesses circulating through the ward. Recovery becomes a waiting game. And in the background of all this, something almost unimaginable now: smoking. Cigarettes are everywhere in American life during the dawn. Something almost unimaginable now: smoking. Cigarettes are everywhere in American life during the American life, during the American life, during the marginable now. Unimaginable now. 1960s. Advertisements feature doctors endorsing brands. Ashtrays sit in waiting rooms. Visitors smoke during conversations. In some hospitals, designated smoking areas are common. In certain wards, patients themselves smoke while recovering. Picture this. You're healing from abdominal surgery. Across the room, someone lights a cigarette. Smoke drifts slowly toward the ceiling. No one gasps. No one intervenes. It's normal. The culture hasn't shifted yet. The long-term consequences aren't fully acknowledged. Beyond physical health, mental health treatment in the 1960s carries its own atmosphere. Psychiatric wards are often separated from general hospitals. Treatments like electroconvulsive therapy are used more frequently than today. Sedatives are common. Patient rights laws are still developing. Family members sometimes make decisions with minimal direct patient input. Consent processes are not as detailed. Transparency is different. Again, not necessarily cruel, but not centered on autonomy in the way modern medicine strives to be. Even basic hospital routines feel strict. You wake early. Lights on. Vitals checked. Breakfast trays arrive whether you're hungry or not. Meals are simple, institutional. Gelatin cups, broth, toast. Bed rest is enforced more rigidly in some cases. Movement is cautious. There is structure, order, discipline, and beneath it all, a quiet expectation. Don't make a scene. Don't question too much. Trust the doctor. For many people who lived through it, hospitals in the 1960s were places of authority. Doctors were rarely challenged. Medical decisions weren't crowdsourced or researched at home. There is no internet to consult, no online forums sharing patient experiences. If your physician says surgery is necessary, you comply. That trust saves lives, but it also means surrendering control. Now, to be fair, hospitals in the 1960s also represent incredible progress compared to earlier eras. Polio vaccines are changing childhood survival rates. Cardiac surgery is advancing. Organ transplantation is becoming reality. Lives that would have been lost in the 1930s are now saved. Medicine is evolving rapidly. But comfort and emotional sensitivity are evolving more slowly. So when we say you wouldn't survive a 1960s hospital stay, it's not because the doctors were incompetent. It's because the experience itself demanded a different kind of resilience. A tolerance for uncertainty. A tolerance for discomfort. A tolerance for isolation. Imagine lying awake at 2 a.m., the ward is dim. You hear the faint hum of ventilation. Somewhere down the hall, a metal tray clatters. You can't scroll on a phone to distract yourself. You can't call a friend at will. You can't stream a show to quiet your mind. You just think about your surgery, about possible complications, about how long you'll be here. And you wait for morning. When discharge finally comes, it feels abrupt. Paper instructions, basic guidance. Fewer follow-up systems than today. You go home to recover. Scars remain, memories linger. For those who lived through hospital stays in the 1960s or early 1970s, certain details never fade. The chill of starched sheets, the heavy glass thermometers, the taste of crushed ice chips after surgery, the echo of footsteps in tiled corridors. It wasn't all horror. Many people recall dedicated nurses who went above and beyond. Surgeons who performed miracles with the tools they had. Communities grateful for expanding medical care. But compared to the personalized, patient-centered environments many expect now, it feels almost unrecognizable. Today, families stay overnight. Pain is monitored carefully. Infection control is meticulous. Smoking is banned. Patient rights are protected by law. Technology watches every heartbeat in real time. In the 1960s, survival often depended not just on the success of the procedure, but on your ability to endure the environment around it. So if you stepped into a hospital from 1964 tomorrow, no smartphone, no private room, no overnight visitors, limited pain relief, cigarette smoke in the air, would you handle it? Would you stay calm? Would you accept it without question? Or would the shock of it all feel overwhelming? Medicine has advanced in extraordinary ways, but perhaps what's changed just as much is what we expect. We expect comfort. We expect communication. We expect reassurance. In the 1960s, you were expected to be tough. And that's why, for many of us today, a hospital stay in that era would feel less like treatment and more like a test of endurance. If you remember hospitals from the 60s or 70s, what stands out most in your memory? The smell? The rules? The silence at night? Share your experience below. Because for a generation of Americans, this wasn't history. It was real life.